Hi, this is Margo. This is Sunday, late afternoon, February the 21st, 2021. I hope everyone is safe and doing as well as possible. It's been quite the week, I know. We made it through another one, although some people did not make it through this week, so I've been praying for all the people in trouble out there, especially in Texas and throughout the country and different parts of the world. We've just, we are in the end times, so we will have trials and tribulations upon us. So we're going to look at methane data. So here's the deal. For today, now let me show you. We've got some missing data. Normally I would use the Saturday data for my weekly, but for my weekly update, but on the NOAA website they finally decided to say image not available for the METOP2 satellite for any of the levels here. Let's see. They just recently put this up. It had been coming up for the 19th. I've been checking it all day. So we have incomplete data for the 20th. Now I'll show you what we do have for the 20th. Here's the METOP1 satellite for yesterday in the morning. The mean was 1896. Now this is high. We haven't had it this high yet this year. And then the high reading was 2388 parts per billion. In the afternoon the mean was 1893. And the high reading was 2398. So that's all we have for yesterday. So here's what I did. Since it had been almost a week, I used the data for the 19th and to put on our weekly chart. It's been 6 days instead of 7 days, so I figured rather than not have anything for this week, or I could wait, and if they put the Sunday data up I could use that, but with just having 2 readings for Saturday, it just wasn't enough. So I used the data for the 19th. So it came out to be 1881.25 parts per billion, which shows an increase over last Saturday of 2.75. And so we're back up above the 1880 line now. And since February 29th of last year, we're 4.75 parts per billion higher than that. The change since March the 1st of 2019, when I first started tracking this, we've had an increase of 24 parts per billion. And change in the last year, from February the 19th of 2020 to February 19th of 2021, we have an increase of 9.5 parts per billion. That was in February of last year when I started tracking the NOAA data daily. So we can see on a day-by-day basis where we were for a year back now. And so here's what it's done this week. Here it was on my show last week. We were at 1878.5 for Saturday the 13th, and that showed an overall decrease for the week of 1 part per billion. And then on Sunday it went up 1.25. On Monday it went up 0.5. On Tuesday there was no change. On Wednesday it went up 0.75. Thursday it went down 0.75. Then on Friday it went back up 1 part per billion, showing an overall increase of 2.75 for this week and 9.5 for since the last year. Now, last year it was zipping up in February. It had gone up in January, then it went back down the first part of February, then it started going back up. So here we are on the 20th with incomplete data, METOP2 data unavailable. So we're just not going to count that day at all. So I have that documented now, and so we'll just, next week when I do the report, it will be for 8 days instead of 7 days. But at least we'll have something close to a weekly reading that we can be charting and keep up with everything. And so we'll look at the CAMS data now for yesterday, the 20th. I have the Arctic view pulled up and surface level. So it's been going up for most of the week. And there's the color ledger. And I was going to record the show earlier, but I've just been waiting to see if data would become available. I've had trouble with NASA Worldview, and then I shot an email to Robin saying that it had been up, but now it was down, and he said, "Do you have a VPN?" I said, "Yeah, I should try it." So I normally don't turn on my VPN for just for doing the research and recording shows, but I did turn it on and set it to out of the US, and came right up. So there you go. So if you're in the US and trying to look at NASA Worldview and it won't load, then set your VPN to a country other than the US and it'll probably come right up. So I've got my VPN running right now. So here we are, and we've got an overall, you can see this background color has risen way up into the yellow and the orange range and throughout Russia, and see the light yellow green moving, and that's higher reading. This is totally crazy. In the North Kara Sea and around Komsolomitz and Severnaya Zemlya, it's just not stopping. And we've discussed this, and no one else is reporting on this. We're seeing it stream out across the Arctic up through the sea ice, and we're seeing it here. See where it had streamed out across, and this is this East Siberia Arctic shelf. Now this is in the sun now. It's not very bright sun because it's just coming up in the North Pole as the Earth is tilting. But this whole area is now in the sun, so I don't expect a lot of refreeze to be happening. There's also a lot of warm air over the Arctic right now, mainly coming up from the Atlantic and coming in around, like up past Greenland and up to the North Pole, and then it's like making a V shape. And with that warm air, we're also seeing the ice is melting over near the North Pole and around Greenland. It's melting, and it's still in the dark there. So I'm going to show you that today too. So you can see the methane is higher. See all the reds? We haven't had this in a while. And now we'll look at the North Pole view. See, you're covered up, starting from Germany, going over east. You're covered up in methane. Now here's India, is still kind of filling up, and see it's billowing up from the Bengal Bay. Here's China, and we see waves of it just moving out. About every week to 10 days, there's a dark wave that moves out from China. I don't know why that is. And we're also seeing, now this is for Saturday, and so the data is for Saturday. The forecast is Sunday through Monday. So Saturday was the first really good weather day after that huge snow and ice that went all the way down into Mexico, and we're seeing huge methane now from Texas over, and it's because of all the water, all the moisture, and you see the waves. See the earth is just opening up with methane. We see this green has gone all the way down over past the Gulf of Mexico and down out into the Pacific now. But the jet stream broke. It's totally broken, and so there was cold air coming down through the Canada side and cold air on the Russia side, and so the whole northern hemisphere was way down. But we'll look at Climate Reanalyzer too. I want to show North America now. Look at this. See all that? See, it's coming up. See, it's just streaming up. And because of all of the cold temperatures and the ice and the snow all the way down to Galveston, which is at this southern tip of Texas, they lost the citrus crop in Texas, and a lot of the wheat crop, they lost that. They normally harvest that after the winter, but so that's not good. I don't know how it's affected Mexico. I haven't seen a lot of reports about that. Look at California, you're still streaming methane. Here up by Seattle, the Seattle area, and here North Dakota, this is a problem area, consistent problem area. There's a lignite coal mine up there. So, see the wave moving out? That's just That's also another sign of higher methane readings when you see those waves just move out across. Now we'll take a peek at the global view. New Zealand, you're coming back to life with methane. We're seeing more blues down in the southern hemisphere. That's a sign of higher methane readings too. That's the next color up from the purple, and that's the blue. This dark blue is 1800 parts per billion. See, it's streaming off of South America there. Now we'll look at 500 HPA. So here we go. See, the red is spread out all across North America. And see, these higher readings are coming further south now too. See the yellow at the southern Perth, just south of, southern Australia, near the Perth area. And the greens are going further south now. That's another sign of methane on the increase. So, we're in no man's land. I was saying this in a recent show for my Subscribe-Star members, that we're at levels in methane that it's not going back down to normal, whatever normal was. It's just going to keep going up. So we're in uncharted territory every year, every day, every week and month and day now. We're really in uncharted territory, so we don't know what to expect. So here's southern China and down into Asia, Bengal Bay, India, and we're seeing some high readings over South America too. Now we'll move on to sea ice. So I'm done with that one. So here, this is from Climate Reanalyzer for, oh, it's the wrong year. Hold on, I got the wrong year. Let me get this fixed. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I have all of these images stored in one folder since I started saving these, and so I have to, sometimes I get the wrong year, right day but wrong year. So here we are for today. This is from Climate Reanalyzer, sea ice and snow cover. This is the northern hemisphere, and for Sunday 21st, and the white on is like on the land. That's where the snow went. Snow, where you see snow, and then over the water, that's the sea ice. Sometimes the sea ice has a snow cover on it. We've seen a tiny bit of extent trying to come back here in the Barents Sea, but it's having an issue, and also here in the Fram Strait, because of this warm air that's over the Arctic right now. We're going to look at that, but you can see we've got ice all the way up to the coastlines. Here's the Baffin Bay, and we've had a tiny bit of refreeze here. And here's the Hudson Bay. Here's in the Pacific between Alaska and Russia, a little bit of refreeze here, and here in the Okhotsk Sea, it's trying to refreeze a tiny bit. It also looks like the Great Lakes, we've got a little bit of white there, so it looks like some refreeze going on there. So let's see what has happened this week. So here we are last Sunday for our show on the 14th. So I'll just click through and you can see for yourself any changes. It's hard to tell, with this ice up there, snow and ice, but in the summertime you can see a big change from day to day when everything's melting. So here we go. Here's the 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, and 21st. So it looks like we had a little retreat here besides Svalbard, and so this has been a problem area. It hasn't refrozen really on this west side of Svalbard this year at all. So there's that. Now we'll look at, and also the Navy website is having issues. They have not updated their Arctic view or their Antarctic view, and the latest is the 16th, so I didn't even bother with it. But this is the Beaufort Sea ice thickness. This is what's left of the thickest sea ice, and it's still moving down ever so slightly, and piling up. It's compressing and piling up along this Alaska coastline. So here it is for today, and it's thickening out across this Chukchi Sea over to Russia. But it's still not looking great. Here's the 30-day animation. So the forecast goes out a week from now to the 28th, which will be the last day of this month. I can't believe that February is over almost. This year is just zipping by already. 2 months gone. See, in this, you can definitely see the thickening here. See it going into the aqua, the dark aqua, especially in the last 2 week period. So there's that. Now this is a new model that the Navy just started on the 12th. This is the Baffin Bay. This is about in the middle part south. Here's Greenland and here's Canada on this left side. So here it is for today. Now this white area is ice free, and because it's just too warm for it to freeze there. We're seeing little wisps of ice trying to come back on the extent here. Now here's the animation from the 12th, and it goes out a week from now to the 28th, and you can see the ice exiting from these little cubby holes. See, it's exiting, coming down, and then the general drift is down and out. And this is the sea surface temperature in the Baffin Bay, and so it goes all the way up to 4C. That's the temperature. And I call this black. It's a dark red. See, here it is coming up from the Atlantic, entering, and so this is why it's not freezing, because of this temperature. And because it is more salty here, it's gonna have to be about 2C, minus 2C, for it to freeze. So that's why you're not seeing ice here. And that's all of those. Now we'll move on. Let me check something real quick. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So, let's see, where are we? Snow and Ice Data Center. This is the National Snow and Ice Data Center Sea Ice Index for the Arctic and the Antarctic. I have the daily view pulled up, blue marble and concentration, and you see this big area that's in yellow, that's missing data. So we've got multiple issues on these different sites. So this is the third problem here today. So, but the blue means it's not very concentrated. Here's the chart for the Arctic sea ice extent. The blue line is this year. The dotted line is 2012. That's been the lowest extent that they had measured. It had been kind of like the guidepost, but we're below that. You see, here's this dotted line on the refreeze. We had been below 2012 since October, and then we were kind of the same for a little bit, and then slightly above, but now it's taking a dive, and we're below 2012. So the extent is the lowest it's been for this time of year. So that's not good. And in the Antarctic, this yellow area, all of that's missing data too. So I don't know what's going on. Something's up. Everything is off. And so here's the Antarctic sea ice extent, and the blue line is this year. This dark gray line was last year, and it looks to me like we're below the gray. That's what it looks like. View image. Here, we can blow it up. Yeah, we are below the gray line. We've been, look, I hadn't really blown it up. We've been below last year since sometime in January. And last year was the lowest they had. So that's not good either. So there's that. Now, let's move on. I want to show Climate Reanalyzer next before we go to NASA Worldview. You'll understand more about why the ice is the way it is. Now this is, here we'll look at maximum temperatures for today, And here it is over the Arctic. See this air mass, this warm air mass that's spreading out. It had started out just as a little V shape coming in, and now it's been spreading out. The North Pole is about here, and I don't see this. This is not above freezing yet. Here's our color scale. This aqua color is about 0, and then when it goes into the greens, it's going above freezing. So this is why the sea, you'll see on NASA Worldview that the sea ice is melting up here, and it's a big wide area, and then the cold air is coming down on both sides. So here's the flat view. See, it's cold all the way across Russia. Now here's 2-meter temperature anomaly for today. So where these lines cross is the North Pole right there. So just east of the North Pole, we're seeing it going up into the pink zone. This is like 24°C higher than normal. This 2-meter temperature anomaly. Could be going higher than that, we just don't know. And see how it spreads out all the way up to the Russia coastline, and now we've got reds up here in Canada. See, we still have a lot of blues throughout the US. Even after it's warming up, it's still colder than normal. And then see, it's still purple up here in Russia. So the Arctic is 0.4°C higher than normal right now. The northern hemisphere is at 0.5°C. Worldwide, we're at 0.2°C. And the Antarctic is -1°C, lower than normal. So here's what we've got on the flat view. So see, it's red over here in China, red and brown, and then brown from Europe up, then all this purple and blue over Russia. There's that. Here's precipitation and clouds. Look how far north it's raining up by Norway. And here's this next system coming in on the west coast of North America. Now, the last couple of days it was raining down here at the Western Peninsula in the Antarctic, so that'll melt any sea ice that's there. I wanted to show this jet stream. This is pretty crazy. See how it's completely broken, and it had swooped. It came down in this V shape and just sat like that for over a week. Now it's broken, and see, we've got this arm. See, it comes down way past the equator and down into the southern hemisphere. Does that make any sense? I mean, that's what it looks like to me, like this arm is part of the split from this northern hemisphere jet stream. and that it went down to the southern hemisphere. And then here it is. This is like another arm where it picks up across the Atlantic, and then here's breaks here on this east side. It's not a stream. There's nothing close to a stream. It's just clumps and craziness, and this is what's causing the weather chaos. Here's sea surface temperature anomaly. It's updated to Friday the 19th. It's still brown, so warmer than normal up here as the North Atlantic comes up into the Barents Sea. See, it's still brown around Svalbard, brown and reddish brown around Greenland. Now look, in the Gulf of Mexico, it's brown already. And that kind of surprised me with all that cold air. Just goes to show that even with cold air, the sea surface temperature can be higher than normal. Here's this blob, the red blob in the South Pacific. So here the North Atlantic is still at 0.6 C higher than normal. The Northern Hemisphere is up 0.4 C, and worldwide we're up 0.4 C higher than normal. So there's that. Now I wanted to go to NASA Worldview now. Let's refresh this and see if there's any new data. Hope it reloads. Okay, here we go. So this black circle is where it's still dark, so we don't have this data in yet over Alaska, but that's okay. We've got everything we want here. So taking into account what you just saw with that warm air coming up from the Atlantic and across, this is the sea ice concentration today. Now here's Greenland, and see these holes that are opening up. This had been solid here in the Fram Strait. Now here's Svalbard, and what little bit was trying to refreeze here on the western side is now melted, and it's opened up even further up. It's melting. Holes are opening up around Franz Josef Land, and there's a hole opening up. Here's the North Pole, so north of the North Pole we've got holes opening up too. So let's go back to last week, the 14th. Gotta refresh. Here we go. See, this was pretty solid here on the 14th. Now watch. We're just going to click through. Still okay. Still looking pretty good there on the 15th. Now this, remember we talked about this hole here in the Nares Strait. I have a theory about that. I'm working on it. I'm doing a little bit of research. But that's closed back up, it looks like. Oopsies. Gotta refresh. We'll have to go back through once we get all the data in. Now see, on the 16th it started. You can see the reds and different colors coming in here in this Fram Strait. the melt in around Franz Josef Land. It's really starting to melt. Look at that. Look at the 17th. Here's the 18th. Here's the 19th. There's the 20th. See, it's taken off now. See, this hole here is opening up. And here we are today. I haven't tried the nighttime view on this. We could try it and see if there's anything to see here. The nighttime layer. Oh. Yeah, see, you can see the holes there. See, that's open water. Huge areas of open water there. Kind of hard to make sense of too many things here. So let's go back. So here's Svalbard. So this must be a cloud here, because that's not sea ice. Let's see if we can see anything around Franz Josef Land. Yeah, see? Look at that. See that open water? Look at all of that. So that's just, there's an island. See all the open water? So that's melting. Can definitely see that. Now let's turn our ice layer back on. Let's see if we can see anything around Severny Zemlya or Komsomolets. Let's zoom back in. Okay, here we are. Here's now this is where that methane's still billowing. It's billowing. Look at this. This must be along the Canadian border. Let's see. I think I'm lost. Yeah. Okay, so here's Ellesmere. I think. Yeah, there's Greenland. Here's Ellesmere. Can't see that much. So I think that's enough but this is bothering me, this hole opening up. It's in the dark there. So we'll turn that layer off, turn that one off. So let's see what we can see with the ice today. Here's the Baffin Bay, and we saw on the Navy website it only goes up about here. So here's the ice. You can see the leads there. Now the hole that had opened up, it looks like it had closed back up here. So, but that's in the dark, and then we've got a big cloud there, so we can't really see anything. So here are clouds. Here's Novae Zemlya. See, it's almost all in the sunlight now. There's a little bit of extent that's come back on this west side. You can see the ice there. And here's the ice. Here's where it ends there. Then here's the Russia coastline. Now we've got clouds. Here's the Yamal Peninsula. Here's the Gulf of Ob. And this whole Russia coastline is almost all in the sun now. Here's the Laptev Sea. Let's see if we can see anything. Here's some cracks. See. Now we're looking through a cloud, but you can see there's a shelf, a little bit of a shelf that's come out from the coastline, and then the sea ice, it's a thinner there. See, that's melting, or it's not very well put together. It doesn't look like. And then this area is the East Siberia Arctic shelf is underneath here. Can't really see much. Here's the Bering Strait. Let's see if we've got any new data in yet. No, not really. Lots of clouds. That's the thing. Here's Kamchatka. Here's some ice and clouds. This is the Sea of Okhotsk here. Now we'll take a peek at the Antarctic, see what's going on down here today. Sun is still up. It's lowering towards the horizon. So right down here is where it had been raining for the last couple of days. It's not raining now. This is the Larsen Sea ice shelf. Here's the ice, the sea ice next to it. Here's the Larsen B. Now we saw a big piece break off here this week. We saw that. See, that's kind of going in there. And we have a lot of clouds. Where is South Sandwich Island? I mean South Georgia Island. That's what I'm looking for. I'm a little lost here. Oh, it's up here. I think it's right there. I'm looking for the pieces of A68. Here we are. They're over here. So here's the island. Here's where the pieces, they're still breaking up. See, here's a piece over here. This is the biggest one that's left, but you can see the fragments coming off there. But they haven't run into any of the islands as far as I can tell. So today you can't really see them because of the clouds. And Pine Island Glacier has been cloud covered most of the summer. See? Here we are. This is a good view on the 19th. But this ice has stayed frozen all year, which I'm surprised of. This was all melted last year. Here's a cloud right over the area that I want to look at. And another cloud there. Here's the Thwaites Glacier. This is the Doomsday Glacier. See, that's a good view on the 19th. Here's where it had broken off. This is from here down. That's what's left of the tongue, and it's coming apart. It's really coming apart now. But it's all cloudy today. See, this area has just stayed in clouds most of the summer. Here's the Ross Sea, it's open. Here's the Ross Ice Shelf. We've got a bunch of clouds again today. Here's the Totten Glacier. Now up here, we've got a good view of the Amory ice sheet today. And see, this ice is moving out now. This kind of broke away this week, and this piece is moving out. It's a bunch of pieces together, but I looked back through previous years, and a lot of previous years this had already melted by now in this area. Now here we can see the melt in this little inlet. See the ice there, and you can see it melting there. There are several glaciers that feed into this ice sheet. And here you can see the flow still coming down. And coming up to the north end, it's melted up to this coastline in a lot of places. Remember, it's below last year. It's the lowest for this time of year. Here's the Brunt ice sheet. Here's a big cloud today. And here's the Weddell Sea. There's the ice Here's the Weddell ice shelf. You can see the ice here. There's that. Now I wanted to go over earthquakes. I took these pictures this morning. There were 205 earthquakes this morning in the last 24 hours when I took these pictures. We had a lot of activity on this Juan de Fuca plate. Here's a 5 something up here in Russia, 5 something here in Peru. So we'll just go through these. Here in the lower 48, including this one up in Canada, there were 115. Southern California is showing 22. Searles Valley Ridgecrest area is showing 18. The largest one is that blue highlighted one, that 3.3 at Coso Junction at a negative 0.4 kilometer depth. So that means that the movement was up inside the mountain. So magma's rising is what that means. And there was a cluster that happened there. You can see them lined up there. Here in western Nevada over to Mammoth Lakes, we're only 6 today. The largest one was this 2.9 at Hawthorne. This is all along the San Andreas fault line around San Francisco area. We're showing, I think it's 7 or 8 today. Twos and under. The geysers are showing 38 today. That's kind of a high number. This is around Lake Almanor. At the southern end was a 1.5 at Canyon Dam, and then a 1.0 at Mineral, California. Now this is off the coast of Northern California and Oregon. This is the Juan de Fuca plate. Now so we've got 4 right up here. The largest one is this 5.1, and then a 4.9, and a 3.4 and 3.5. Then down here at the base of the plate was a 2.8, and then on land at Petrolia was a 2.5. So 6 altogether. So this is the Cascadia subduction zone is just east of this. That's what we're all watching with bated breath. Here's a close-up of this 5.1, and then the others on the Juan de Fuca plate. Here in the Pacific Northwest over to Yellowstone we have 5. Now we're looking at New Mexico and West Texas. We've got a 2.8 up here at La Jolla, New Mexico, south of Albuquerque, and two earthquakes in West Texas, a 2.8 at Coyanosa and a 2.5 further up by Guadalupe Peak. Oklahoma is only showing 2 today, a 2.1 and a 1.6. Here in the New Madrid zone, we've got a 1.8 near Ridgely, Tennessee. And on the east side of Tennessee, we have a 2.4 at Banner Hill with a depth of only 1.1 kilometer depth. So it's quite shallow. Here's this one up in Canada, a 2.5 near Miramichi, Canada, in New Brunswick. Puerto Rico showing 9 today. South America is showing 5 today. The largest one is this 5.0 near Tierra Vista, Peru. Hawaii showing 29 today. The largest is that 3.0 at Pahala. Alaska showing 33 today. That's kind of a low number. The largest is this 4.8 at Adak down here in the Aleutian Islands. They had a 5-something here a couple of days ago, so I think these are still aftershocks there. Here is a 4.6 on land on Kamchatka, Russia, near Atlasovo. Here in the South Pacific, we've got 5. A couple of them were pretty deep. A 4.5 at Fiji that was 620 kilometers deep, and 4.8 south of Fiji that was 539 kilometers deep. And in this picture we've got 3, 4.9 in the Mariana Islands, and then 2 down here in Indonesia, 4.6 and 4.5. Here is this 5.1 in Russia, just north of Mongolia. We've been seeing some large earthquakes here near Mongolia, so this is in the same region, southern Russia. Here's the Baikal Sea. And then a 4.9 at Carlsberg Ridge. This is in the Indian Ocean. So here's India, and here's Africa over to the west. It's right on that red line. And that's it. And if we look at the website, USGS website, we'll see what else might be happening. Got some more big ones down here. 5.1 Loyalty Islands, that came in at 2:54 this afternoon. 5.0 at Tonga, and so on. Now we're still, this is still happening. Look here. Here's a 3.7 at Gilroy, California. This just came in 5:38. So this is near that San Andreas fault line, so a lot of activity. So probably because of this Juan de Fuca plate moving, we're going to see activity down this San Andreas fault line. Here's a bigger dot. 3.3 at Cabazon, California, east of LA. So those are some bigger ones, and we'll probably see more activity on this connected on this Imperial fault line too, and then further south. So there's that. So that's what I had for the week. I'm going to finish up with one of my favorite Psalms. This is one I've been reading recently. Psalms 46. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore will not we fear, though the earth be removed, and though the mountains be carried into the midst of the sea, though the waters thereof roar and be troubled, though the mountains shake with the swelling thereof. Selah. There is a river, the streams whereof shall make glad the city of God, the holy place of the tabernacles of the Most High. God is in the midst of her, she shall not be moved. God shall help her, and that right early. The heathen raged, the kingdoms were moved. He uttered his voice, the earth melted. The Lord of hosts is with us, the God of Jacob is our refuge. Selah. Come, behold the works of the Lord, what desolations he hath made in the earth. He maketh wars to cease unto the end of the earth. He breaketh the bow, and cutteth the spear in sunder. He burneth the chariot in the fire. Be still, and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the heathen. I will be exalted in the earth. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. Selah. So we need to remember that God is still in control, and God is allowing certain things to happen for certain reasons. And I believe it's all for our own deliverance if we allow it. And if we open our hearts to God and Jesus and ask for forgiveness and to be guided, that we will be, and to be protected, that we will be, and know that our souls will be saved if nothing else. And that's the most important thing. It really doesn't matter what happens to our bodies. I know it's uncomfortable to go through things, and we will be tortured. It says in the Bible that in the end times the Christians will be tortured and persecuted, and I know that, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because this is not my world. This is not where I'm going to end up. I'm going to a better place. So I'm praying for everybody, and I love you all. Hope you have a good week. Get your preps in order. Get your preps in order if you haven't done so already. Until next time, God bless you. Go in peace, and I will talk to you soon. Good night.